morning, everybody. I'm Rob Evans. Welcome to a Daybreak Plus. We're breaking down all the news you may have missed overnight, and we are digging deep into what matters to you and what matters to a lot of families out there right now and continues to matter. The measles outbreak. Unfortunately, another child has died of measles in West Texas. This is the second death, as hundreds of cases have now been reported. It's now prompting a response from the U.S. Health Secretary. This little girl's death related to that ongoing outbreak in West Texas. She reportedly was not vaccinated. The second death in West Texas, according to a local hospital spokesperson there. Back in February, we told you another child who was also unvaccinated died from the disease. Doctors and pediatricians have been pushing back against people who are hesitant to get their children the MMR vaccine. Here's Dr. Summer Davies.
It is very hard to see these kids treating them. You see them struggling to breathe. They don't want to eat or drink. They're dehydrated. They have high fever. They're miserable.
U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy visited Lubbock over the weekend to attend the child's funeral. Now, Kennedy has been very skeptical of the MMR vaccine. He has always been that way, but he changed his mind apparently and wrote in a tweet that it was, quote, the most effective way to stop the spread of measles. Kennedy also said that he had been in contact with Governor Greg Abbott and at his request had sent CDC teams back to Texas. Now, in response to the latest measles death in Texas, the senator replied that he was, in fact, in Gaines County for the funeral, the epicenter of the outbreak. The secretary also reported there were now 499 cases, measles cases, in Texas. More federal news right now, federal politics. The Trump administration plans to target 50 countries with more tariffs expected to take effect this week. Goods from Vietnam will see a 46% tariff. China, 34%. European Union, a 20% tariff. The president and his administration says these changes will bring businesses and jobs back to the U.S. Of course, he says they won't impact the consumer, but financial experts disagree, including Kevin Hassett with the National Economic Council.
That more than 50 countries have reached out to the president to begin a negotiation. But they're doing that because they understand that they bear a lot of the tariff. And so I don't think that you're going to see a big effect on the consumer in the U.S.
This is the biggest self-inflicted wound we've put on our economy in history. We're increasing inflation because the prices are higher because of the tariffs.
Quite interesting to hear the two different sides there. It couldn't be more different. There are concerns consumers could see price increases for everything from clothes to electronics to alcohol. And here in Austin, workers at a local toy store say, hey, they're going to see higher prices from their vendors, so you're going to see them too. KVUE's Isabella Basco tells us how this will impact your wallet.
One unicorno. These are so good.
ToyJoy's Chief Operating Officer, Robbie Pettinato, says price increases are nothing new. During the coronavirus pandemic, he saw how increased shipping costs affected pricing from their manufacturers.
The scariest thing that we learned, however, is once vendors raise pricing, whether it's for tariffs or shipping or anything, they never go back down.
Very few toy companies manufacture everything in the U.S. But with President Trump's sweeping new tariffs, Pettinato says their vendors had to raise prices.
Our cost of rent doesn't change and our staffing needs don't change. So for us to retain that same level of revenue, we have to increase our prices to compensate for what the vendors have to charge us.
UT Austin professor Dr. Jeremy Suri expects small businesses will suffer the most since their margins don't allow them to lose money.
By some estimates, most families will pay $4,000 more a year just to buy the same stuff they're buying right now. So we are likely to see more small businesses in Austin going out of business.
While Pettinato says it's hard to say when we could start seeing the price increases from the tariffs, he fears for the future.
No one's going to make more money because of the tariffs. It's a genuinely disconcerting time for small businesses everywhere, like not just in Austin, not just even in the US. Like this is a worldwide massive upper pressure on our survival as a business.
And I just want to go back to the thing I said earlier in the intro there. The president administration says these changes will not impact the consumer. Judge for yourself there. Right now it's a 7:06. Let's get a look at the weather and traffic with Grace and Hannah. Starting with Grace, and no impact on the price of your forecast. We appreciate that, Grace.
Yeah, it's looking real good out there. Let's take a look at our sunrise this morning. It is quite chilly, yes, Rob. I mean, 30s in a lot of places. We're sitting in the 40s here in the metro, a little bit warmer for you guys, but if you're out there towards the hill country or even towards the coastal plains this morning, we're waking up to the mid and even lower 30s in some places. We've got a couple 30s on the map, or at least freezing levels on the map, that is. So Austin looking pretty nice for this morning. We have some clouds off towards the east end that will continuously move off to the east as we head into the day here. Very dry weather here in Austin today, but over towards the east end of the United States, we've got a couple of strong thunderstorms and even some tornado warnings throughout the state of Georgia. Up towards Raleigh and Washington, D.C., those areas pretty wet this morning, and up towards New York and Boston dealing with snowfall. Now, even here in central Texas, or not central Texas, North Texas, we got some snowfall over the weekend. Amarillo actually beating out a daily record for snowfall on, I believe it was Saturday. Now, a lot of places are still feeling the last edges of winter here. 25 degrees in Minneapolis this morning, 41 for Austin, and 36 for Albuquerque. Now, here are those 30s I was talking about on the map. Llano below freezing this morning, 33 in Fredericksburg, Blanco at 35, and 40 degrees for Lockhart and Luling. We'll start to warm those temperatures up just a little bit as we head into the rest of the day. 70 degrees will likely be our high temperature for our Monday. And then as we head into the rest of this week, we are expecting those temperatures to start to warm up continuously. So we shouldn't see too many more mornings of cool temperatures. Now, we also saw some rain over this past weekend that's really helped out our allergy count for today. Oak in the medium, grass and ash also in the medium. Here's a look at those low temperatures the next couple of days here. So Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe a little bit of a cool start. Keep that jacket handy as we head into the middle of the week here. And then Thursday and Friday, you'll probably be able to lose the jacket because those low temperatures in the morning will be likely around 60 degrees or a little bit below that. So our afternoon temperatures will also follow suit with this trend. Thursday up to 88 degrees. A minor front moving in Thursday into Friday will take us back down to the mid 80s, but honestly, it's looking pretty good from here on out, especially if you don't really like the rain from last week that's kind of got you down. This week will be an abundance of sunshine. Also warm temperatures as our next high pressure dome that we usually talk about in the summertime. That's going to be moving over us for the end of this week and really bumping up those temperatures. So the next 3 days you'll notice are pretty quiet across the region. Lots of sunshine. We will see some breeziness on Wednesday, which will actually kick up our chance for fire weather danger, which we haven't tracked in a while because we've had such active rainfall over the past couple of weeks. But remember, we're still in that exceptional to extreme drought all across the I-35 corridor and the hill country. So we need to be watching for anything that could cause a spark as we head into the rest of this week, because no rainfall is happening this week, well into our next weekend here. And it looks like we'll continuously warm up those temperatures heading into this next weekend, Saturday into Sunday, about 90 degrees for Sunday afternoon.
No, 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 I'm cutting off at the 90s. I want my nice, mild, spring-like temperatures. And you know what? It was kind of a sauna last week, so I'm kind of digging the cool air out there, and then it's going to be a gorgeous afternoon. And of course, I'm blessing your screens. I got to show my bluebonnet photo of the day for anyone that'll take a look here. We got this darling little baby doll, just so cute. And we got this note here. My granddaughter is a true Texas baby. This was sent in from Celia Gonzalez out in Round Rock. And this is a photo of baby Lucia, who is 7 months old. And I just love her little Texas shirt. She's got the bluebell, the Whataburger, all of it. And of course, you can keep sending me your photos at hrucker@kvu.com. I'll be showing different photos every day this month. Taking a live look out across the area. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. We are getting back to work and school today. Taking a live look coming in from North Austin, not too far from North Lamar, kind of that slow crawl in the southbound lanes. But we've been in pretty good shape so far today. Not a ton of crashes out there. We do currently have one working right now on the I-35 frontage road near Airport Boulevard, near that Miller area, and that is right off of Airport, not impacting the main lanes. In the northbound lanes on I-35 this morning, we had an incident from much earlier. They just need to clear out that last little vehicle there at Palmer and Harris Glen. This is east of I-35 in that Dessaw neighborhood, but that should be cleared out here any minute now. That's been going for a couple hours. Taking a look just north of there, north of Pflugerville, we've got an incident on Heather Wild Boulevard, not too far from Lewis Henna, causing some slowdowns there. But looking good on Lewis Henna, and pretty much most of I-35 moving in from Round Rock and Georgetown. Not too bad out there, but we are slowing down if you are coming in from Buda, Kyle, San Marcos. Right now at Buda, heading northbound, it's 42 minutes for you and not going very fast, so kind of business as usual at 22 miles per hour. Under 20 minutes though, my Round Rocker's looking really good today. Heading southbound, and then Mopac's been pretty sleepy aside from some of that construction near North Shoal Creek, that Steck exit. All that has been a lot of activity out there, but no active crashes at least, and under 15 minutes really across the board traveling through Mopac right now. Loop 360, if you're in the mood for a view today when that sun comes out, just gorgeous. Under 10 minutes really across the board right now. Kind of slowing down in the mid 50s right now for miles per hour. And last but not least, let's take a look at 183 right now under 10 minutes. Also looking pretty good. Should be a great Monday in Austin, Texas. Rob, back to you.
Hannah, I like the way you just rejected that forecast. Said no. Spring temperatures, and I gotta agree. We talked about earlier about the new tariffs going into effect, right? We talked about how the Trump administration said it will not affect the consumer. And then we talked to a local business owner who said it will affect the consumer. But what about nationally? How will it affect everything we pay for? Well, here's ABC's Perry Russum.
This morning, experts warn the people likely to be hit hardest by President Trump's tariffs will be lower-income Americans, those who rely heavily on products from other countries, including food, electronics, and toys.
I think your $5 toys are easily going to become $10 toys.
Analysts say Americans could see higher prices on some goods in a week to 10 days. Shoppers were seen over the weekend at stores like Costco buying in bulk, hoping to beat any rising prices.
I've got some friends and family that have been telling me you should stock up on like certain essential items.
One industry group warns about 97% of the clothes and shoes bought in the U.S. are imported. Walmart, Gap, Lululemon, and Nike, just some of the companies with the majority of their clothing made in Asian countries. One estimate shows work boots made in China that now retail for $77 would go up to $115. Running shoes made in Vietnam priced at $155 would cost $220. Billionaire hedge fund manager Bill Ackman, who endorsed Trump during the campaign, saying, quote, "The president is losing the confidence of business leaders around the globe. The consequences are going to be severely negative."
The dollar store reported that their traditional customer base that have been coming in are not coming into the store because they cannot afford. Folks who are going to Target are coming down and buying from the dollar stores now. But what happens to people who are going to dollar store and now cannot afford going to dollar store?
But the Trump administration argues previous trade agreements flooded the U.S. with cheaper foreign-made products, taking away American jobs and pushing down American wages.
Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
So now you know how it affects you locally, how it affects you nationally, how it affects you at the dollar store, but it's not just for low-end products, high-end products as well. These tariffs are impacting expensive products. For example, Jaguar and Land Rover say they're not shipping any more vehicles to the U.S., at least for now. They're pausing shipments because of the massive tariff on imported cars. If you're looking for those luxury vehicles, good luck. All right, now to the case of a Maryland father mistakenly deported to a prison in Central America. A judge yesterday said the government's actions appear entirely lawless. Here's ABC's Rhiannon Alley.
The legal battle over the Maryland man mistakenly deported to a notorious prison in El Salvador is intensifying.
Kilmer, if you can hear me, I miss you so much.
A federal judge yesterday refused to delay a deadline for the Trump administration to return Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the U.S. The administration acknowledges Abrego Garcia, a green card holder, was mistakenly put on a plane to El Salvador with more than 200 alleged gang members because of an administrative error. But the Attorney General stands by deporting him.
ICE has testified, members of ICE, that he is an MS-13 gang member.
The judge says the government has given no proof that Abrego Garcia was a gang member, saying the only evidence given includes his wearing of a Chicago Bulls hat and hoodie and a singular unsubstantiated allegation. The Trump administration is asking an appeals court to intervene, arguing because Abrego Garcia is in El Salvador, they cannot demand his return. And they say the judge has no power to order the U.S. government to even negotiate his return. Abrego Garcia's attorneys calling those claims meritless. Meanwhile, over the weekend, more than 1,200 protests against the Trump administration were held across the country, dubbed the Hands Off protest.
We have seen signs that say, hands off our schools, hands off our bodies, hands off our Social Security. It seems everyone out here has a message about what they consider government overreach.
Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
Well, TikTok is getting another lifeline here in the States. President Donald Trump said yesterday he is signing an executive order to keep TikTok running again here in the U.S., this time for another 75 days. He says he wants to give his administration more time to find a deal that will move the social media platform under American ownership. On social media, the president said his administration is working hard on a deal and is, quote, looking forward to work with TikTok and China to close that deal. And we leave you this morning with something to talk about, and something you don't see a whole lot of. A snowstorm in Amarillo, Texas this weekend is now the new record holder for snowfall in that town, beating the previous April 5th record. Take a look at that. My goodness. The old record was set back in 1895 at 1.5 inches. Now, 130 years later, so much snow was falling Saturday, the record was already beaten by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Reported snowfall amounts for the region reach up to 5 inches in some areas of Amarillo, Texas. Again, that's just hard to believe here in April, up to 5 inches of snow in Texas. Okay, well, that is it right now for our Daybreak Plus. We want to know, what do you want to talk about? Message us at 512-459-9442. You can also message me if you'd like on social media at Rob Evans TV on Facebook, Insta, or X. And stick around if you would, because Daybreak continues right here on KVUE Plus. Goodbye, everybody.